On a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised were you when you saw Joshua Buatsi in the BT Sports Studios?
Fam, 17. When I saw him on there, I said, "Oh, this is wrong. this is incorrect. You don't just appear even on DAZN, let alone the panel on BT." I said, "Okay, something's going on."
Something's going on, indeed. And now we know something's going on, right? Yep. Because I think Eddie spoke to, I think it was Boxing Social, and said he's out of contract. And they're willing to match whatever offers come in.
Yep.
But Joshua Buatsi has obviously decided to run his contract. I'm seeing a lot of sports stars do that, by the way. Run their contracts down.
Quietly.
And go to free agency.
Yeah.
And okay, who has the most money for me? Where can I go? And he's obviously looking to maybe potentially leave. Looks like he's going to leave. You don't run your contract down unless you want to leave. It's just that simple.
It's like the NBA model. Basketball players do that. They run it down, test the free agency market, and then maybe sign with the same club just to put a bit of pressure on them financially. Yeah. But this feels different because, like, you look at the story of Buatsi right now, and I'll be real, it's not looking great. You know what I mean?
The stock's down, you think?
The stock isn't great. And also, less so of the fact that the stock isn't great, Eddie's belief in Buatsi almost doesn't feel like it's the same. Like, for me, I felt like that Craig Richards fight, right? Just my own assessment was very much all right, whoever wins is who I'm going to be banking on.
Yeah.
Buatsi wins. But the fact that he even had this moment of like, whoever wins, I might bank on them, suggests there's an issue with Buatsi winning. So Buatsi winning doesn't change anything. But the fact is that close, there's no separation. I don't leave there thinking Buatsi's way better than Craig, So you're still in the same place, and I struggle to sell you. There's a problem. If I'm Eddie Hearn in this equation, I'm struggling to move this thing forward.
I'm happy you said that. Okay, so if you're playing Eddie Hearn, okay, you got it. You got Callum Smith.
Yep.
You've got Bivol. So you've got those two. You've got Canelo, who kind of up and down the 175. So you've got three big guys at 175. Bivol has almost become a superstar
and Craig
now.
just tevering right behind him.
Craig's just tevering, like almost can put him with them.
Yeah.
Can go competitive fights. You've got Callum, who's WBC mandatory, and you've got Canelo, who's the king, right? And then you've got Buatsi, who might not be what you first thought he was, in terms of that killer. I still think it's a very good fight, but it might not be that killer. But certainly isn't the needle mover in terms of bums on seats and pay-per-view guys. He ain't going to be that, is he?
Yeah. No, unfortunately. And I think it's not necessarily down to his fighting style, because when he fights, he delivers. He gives you what you need. Do you know what I mean? It's just the profile side of things. I think he's completely neglected the other side of boxing. Do you know what I mean? He has a personality which is very much like, don't include me now. I don't really want to be involved. Don't talk to me. I just want to do my thing. And that's fine for a different era. This era is not really accessible. You're not going to be a superstar behaving like that. So I think there's a problem. There's a disconnect with, I don't know what to do now then. So I'll put you in tricky fights. Oh, that fight didn't get like the Callum Smith fight didn't get made for whatever reason. The Bivol fight is like maybe getting made. But I think there is an issue with his light heavyweights. Callum Smith feels like he's his number one. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, in this country, Callum Smith is number one. There's no two ways about it. He thinks, and look, it'll be interesting to see. I think Callum Smith fights March 11th. I don't think it's against anyone of note.
Nah.
But it'll be interesting to see what kind of bums on seats he can do.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Callum Smith is that much big of a draw than Buatsi.
I think because there's that whole, middleweight campaign, like he was an ex-world champion. Yeah, there was a blinding KO over Castillo.
Yeah.
Like, he's got that thing of like, okay, well, how good is he?
The Buddy McGirt thing as well now.
That's what I'm saying. So there's still that energy, whereas it feels stagnant if you compare that to what Buatsi's doing. And obviously there's inactivity, injuries, or whatever reason. I'm sure there's a good explanation, but at the same time, it's like, there's a lot of quiet.
Yeah, look, I've openly said this about Buatsi, and I think he's maybe got upset about it. But just be honest, as a fan of he's coming out of the Olympics, 2016, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
2016 Rio. I expected more from... look, he could become a world champion. It could happen. Who knows, right? I mean, Beterbiev is 38. Bivol could go down to 160. I have no idea what's going on. But I expected Joshua Buatsi to be a world champion. Or to have a world title shot by now.
By now, yeah.
Have a world title shot. I mean, Yards had 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yards had 2 world title shots. I would expect Buatsi to have had 1 by now.
Even
win or lose.
Craig's
had 1. Do you know what I mean? Win or lose, it's fine. I mean, look at Yard's stock's gone up in losses.
Yeah, facts.
Yard just lost and his stock's gone that way. So it doesn't matter if you're going to go in there and lose. We just want to see you go in there. And we haven't seen that. I mean, the biggest name on the record is Craig Richards. Some might say Bolotnik's Craig Richards, right? I mean, it's very, very close. If you're Eddie, would you be upset if he leaves?
I'd be upset for the work I've invested. But as far as him leaving, it's one of those irritating assets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you go, I could probably watch you do something over there, and it's gonna irritate me a bit.
Of course it is. If he goes to BT Sports and he fights Yard, then
bro, that's a big fight.
It's loss. It's the biggest loss Matchroom could have, because that's the fight that would definitely do the O2 Arena.
Facts.
It'll do great numbers. They might even chuck it on pay-per-view. I'm not trying to say it's a pay-per-view fight,
Yeah.
but you can understand why they would, because it's just the one that everyone's been asking for. So if I'm Eddie, those things are in the back of my mind before I let him go. Before I let him go, I'm thinking, well, 1 second, if he goes over to them, then I'm giving them the Yard fight.
Yeah.
Where
100%.
I should be trying to get Yard over here.
And that's the thing. Whereas I think where Buatsi doesn't make it easy, and I think this is one of those things that's like, you see the same kind of thing in like entertainment industry, where guys have their agents in the game, and some people take the approach of, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to wait for my agent to phone me. Some people get proactive and they make their agent's life very easy. With boxing, a lot of fighters, he's like got an old school approach of, I'm just going to fight, I'm just going to be in the gym, I'll come out when it's time to come out, but until then I'm fighting. Because he doesn't fight much. That means there's dark silence where he's concerned.
That's a very, very good shout.
With Yard, he's got Adidas sponsorships. He's got an image of it's likable.
Yeah, and then he's got Tunde as well.
He's got Tunde talking.
Tunde's
been talking less recently.
Tunde's been talking less, but Tunde spoke enough to get Yard's name out there.
That's right.
Almost a bit like Joe Joyce and Sam Jones.
Facts.
Right, you've got like, I don't need to talk because I've got Sam.
That's right.
Sam will do it for me, and Tunde did it for Yard.
Yeah.
Plus Yard, as you say, is aligned himself with Arsenal, Adidas.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
when Yard's not fighting, you still see Yard.
And not just that, when Yard does speak, people immediately go, all the vitriol that I might have had for Tunde, he's actually quite nice.
Nice guy.
So Tunde's done a great job of putting him on that platform where it's like, the noise is there, and then Yard comes in, he's just charming, nice guy, and people leave with a good feeling. Buatsi does that when he speaks, but how long do we have to wait to hear from Buatsi?
Yeah, it's a shame.
How much do you know about him on a personal level? Like, as a fan, do you know the little windows that we get into these guys' lives? You can never bank on it being pure fact, but how much do you know about Buatsi? Nothing.
No.
I don't know.
I know he's dentist. Yeah, because he's dentist. My friend, shout out to Dr. Daffer. I know Dr. Daffer. I was actually with him the other day. But that's it.
You see what I'm saying?
That's it. And it's disappointing because there is... I think we saw it in that face-off I did with him and Craig Richards. There's a personality there.
There's a killer in there.
There's a killer there. And I want to see more of that. And I've always said, I'm so disappointed in this day and age, and we know what we try and do with our own social medias, right?
Yeah.
Why every boxer should have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Every boxer should have someone that just follows them around. They don't even know when it's going up. Things are just up.
It's a nice
Instagram,
vlog.
TikTok. You need to have everything. You can't be waiting for Eddie to speak for you anymore. It's not enough. And you're right. If Buatsi was fighting every 3-4 months, then fine. We don't need any of that.
Yeah, because the fighting.
Because when was the Richards fight?
Fam, it's last May.
Wow.
That's how long he's been out the ring.
Is that how long? Is that really how long ago it was?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so he's not fighting. If no fight's been announced now, and he's obviously going through this contract thing, that means he ain't fighting until June. Yeah. So it's going to be out of the ring for a year and a bit.
That's what I'm saying.
It's too long.
And I feel like he might waste his best years in this little dark space. And what really does concern me about this era, right? Because you include it from, all the light heavies that we've got right now, AJ, Fury, or Wilders, they're getting up in their years.
Yeah.
They're getting up into those years where stuff just disappears because of age. Like gradual things, very slight. You know what I mean? Like,
no, they're all in their 30s.
I know.
All the light heavies are in their 30s. I mean, we just lost Callum Johnson.
That's what I'm saying.
We just lost Callum Johnson. Dan Aziz is 33, 34.
Bro, this is what I'm saying.
Richard's 31, 32. Like, they're all there.
This is what I
mean.
They're all,
yeah.
Everybody
athletically, they're past their prime, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, football players are retiring at this age.
Football, you're past your prime.
Not everybody's going to 40, like Beterbiev or Bernard Hopkins even. Like, it's not standard. So for me, I'm like, don't gamble on time, man. Let's get this stuff done because, like, look at what happened to, obviously Yard with the Beterbiev. Bro, he went out there and his stock rose. Yeah. Valiant performance. Went a distance with We pushed him in a lot of ways that nobody expected him to. Now people are very favorable.
He got paid.
And he got paid.
And he got paid. Do you know what I mean? And he got paid to the point now where we're saying Yard Joe Smith, Yard Marcus Brown, Yard Buatsi. So the next fight, unless Tunde gives him one of those weird warm-ups, the next fight should be a big one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Buatsi. Like, we need these fights, dude. Honestly, we need these fights. I don't understand what's going on. But look, I mean, if he were to go, I mean, BT Sports seems the obvious option. I mean, Sky Sports has Dan Aziz, and this isn't no disrespect to Dan Aziz, but I know Buatsi would want something a bit bigger in terms of profile than Dan Aziz. That's because the risk rewards it's not right. It's a big risk, there's little reward. So Yard is the obvious one. And for Eddie, I asked you the question, should Eddie be upset? I think he should be worried about fighters leaving. If I'm him, I'm like, okay, what's going on over here? UK scene. You look at the last 4 months.
Yeah.
And people might say they're not big names, but they're still names. Chris Billam-Smith. Liam Smith. Lawrence Okoli. Now Buatsi. All these are gone. You know, we want thick cards over here, and I get, I work Matchroom, I do DAZN. I get we have things all over the world, but this is still your bread and butter. The UK base, where you were number one for the last 10 years with Sky. Number one, couldn't touch it. It was almost like, what's the point of Queensbury? It's too easy.
Yeah.
But now people are starting to leave, and you're making them fatter over there.
It's an interesting one, right? I saw he posted on his story today an interview he did on a podcast out in America, where he says, you know, coming into this game, you know, you're young, you're brash, you're like, yeah, I want to take on the world, It's like I went out to America and it was very much I'm coming here to take over, I got the biggest budget, And he's like, yeah, all that did was push the promoters out there to just collude together and say, we're blocking every single thing you do. And he goes, yeah, if I could take that back, I probably would have done things differently, you know, I don't know if I've quoted verbatim, but that energy has caused him a lot more problems. And I think he's starting to realize the backlash is now being very great. Now, when you say you're taking on the world, he's doing great, but obviously UK's paying the price, and it's great, but it could be better on that side.
Yeah.
And it's like now UK suffering. It's like I think there might be a bit of a thing of like, you know, you've just done too much.
Yeah.
And you have that moment, you sit in the car, you think,
yeah,
I don't know if this was the movie, you know?
No, I agree, because obviously you're right. He went into America very aggressive. And ultimately, he didn't get the names he wanted. Remember, it was the Charlos. Remember, it was Broner. I think a big offer to Broner. There's a lot of talk about Tank, and that talk's still going on. And then over here, you've almost made them align.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying, like, look, I'll be honest with you, and people maybe don't know this, but we tried, and this is DAZN, to go to the Yard Baturbif. I was supposed to go there in the press conference.
Yeah.
That was blocked off.
That's right, of course.
They were like, no, we don't want you there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like, but then I saw Sky there. I was like, 1 second, Sky are there though.
Yeah.
So Sky and BT are colluding and like, okay, we might need to come together on a few things. Obviously, Top Rank included.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that initial attitude of, you know, we're the all singing, powerful, dancing Matchroom, it's come back to bite him in the bum a little bit.
Yeah, because people they're not going to respond well to that. However you dice. If some, you know, comedian in the world started calling out people's names, saying, brother, this guy ain't going to touch this guy, I'd be sitting there thinking, even if these men are my rivals, I'm thinking, I've known these men a lot of years for you to feel like you come to shake it does that. It provokes that response. So I feel like, you know, the savvier approach would have gone better. But if we're going from this point forward, it's going to be tough to really work around these minds, because there's fights that should have been made that are not happening, and it's not because of fighters. And now I'm getting more to realize that it's not, oh, he's scared of this guy, he's scared of this guy. No. Bro, the contract, he's saying, we're not working with this brother.
That's what it is.
I don't care how much that is. For Wilder to say, like, you look back now and say Wilder and the Fury, and the fact that they sent Wilder the bigger contract, he chose to fight Fury. If there's more to that conversation, is him. I'm not working with him.
Yeah, there's a problem. I mean, I remember Eddie actually said he removed himself from that conversation and let John Skipper,
to try and
who's
take it
working
over
with his own, to try and deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there clearly is a problem, and I think it will be disappointing, even for me as a fan. You know, getting to work alongside Buatsi, it'd be disappointing if he does leave Matchroom. And I think there needs to be a bigger conversation about fighters, regardless of Eddie saying, yeah, you know, I don't really want that. Fighters leaving. It's a big thing now.
Yeah.
And that never happened. In all the time that he was, you know, it was Matchroom and Sky, no fighters were leaving.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, there was a conversation. I remember when Matchroom, we'll end on this, I remember when Matchroom sort of re-upped with Dalton Smith. And it was like a big thing. Like, Dalton Smith decided to stay with us. I'm like, that shouldn't even be a thing. Dalton should just be like, formality, Dalton. Yeah. I remember seeing it like there's a poster, like a breaking news. I'm like, Dalton Smith, he's very good, but it's a British champion that's decided to stay.
Yep.
There's a bigger problem. There's a big problem. Anyway, guys, you know that's Mr. Travis J, Undefeated Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to their channel, Monday Night Smoke. If anything, sign up to their channel for Monday Night Smoke. Link is in the description. They need to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of summer.
Yeah, let's call it that.
End of summer, I think it's realistic. So let's help. We are one family here. If you sub to me, you sub to them. See you in the next video.